We begin with breaking news out of Philadelphia International Airport, where a Southwest Airlines plane has just made emergency landing, and there are reports this noon that an engine may have been on fire. The plane taxied to a remote area of the runway where passengers were taken off. We're told one person was taken to the hospital, but at this point, it's unclear exactly why. What we do know, the plane was flying from LaGuardia Airport to Dallas.
And this is a 737 jet that Southwest commonly flies all over the country. You can notice right there the left engine of the plane where there's all the foam around there. That's obviously the engine that malfunctioned in some sort of way. At this point, we are being told that people did exit the aircraft. There are no emergency slides seen here, so obviously it looks like they were taken off by jet stairs to awaiting buses. So again, this is a Southwest jet that was on its way from LaGuardia Airport down to eventually to Dallas, flying to Dallas Love Field.
So apparently, Jim, we're hearing from producers that the damaged engine was on the right side of the screen, so you can see it sort of there in front of where
that's the left engine.
The left engine on the right side of our screen. We're hearing again, to reiterate, one person taken to the hospital. Not exactly clear why. And Jim, of course, you have a background in aviation. How common? Details still very limited at this point, but how common as far as what we know now?
Well, engine issues are, I mean, they do happen frequently. I mean, they happen from time to time. In this case, the question that we have right now is, are those people being taken off the plane? I'm assuming those are the passengers. It does not look, again, like any of the evacuation slides were ejected from the plane. Normally, that's the biggest concern because you have a lot of people are injured during evacuations, but it looks like they're just taking these people off the plane via the jet stairs. Yeah, so they're being taken off the jet via that the jet bridge that was the aircraft stairs that were brought up to the side. And
again, details still very limited, but what we can surmise, if it was flying from LaGuardia, which is just a few hours north of us in New York, to Dallas, that, you know, whatever happened
right away.
Pretty quickly.
I would assume it happened
flight.
In the first few. Yeah, and the other thing too is you know, you're dealing with a plane full of jet fuel, so obviously when you take off, it's they have to usually drop fuel, dump fuel in order to make an emergency landing. Otherwise, the plane's too heavy, and then you're dealing with issues on landing gear and stuff like that. But again, it appears that the engine was the left engine. That would be the right engine on your screen of this 737 Southwest jet.
So Jim, walk us through when a pilot realizes that there are engine problems and he is en route to a different location. What is the process like as far as getting to your intended location as far as PHL? So what exactly had to happen?
Well, in this case, usually they would reach out to the crew in the back, the flight attendants in the back, brief them as best they possibly can, tell them, look, we're going to be making an unscheduled landing. We may have to evacuate. And then normally what will happen is then the flight crew, the flight attendants in the back, brief the passengers as far as bracing positions and what they need to do in order to get off the aircraft quickly. You know, it depends on each situation is different, but in that case, they just want to make sure that once the plane is on the ground, if those passengers did have to evacuate quickly, how the doors open, who's going to get off, what they do at that point. So, but the good thing is here, at least it appears there, you know, we see the engine, the damaged engine on the left-hand side, but they obviously did not evacuate the passengers, and that's always a good thing because people get broken bones and everything else going down those slides. You just don't want to deal with a situation like that.
Okay, so again, what we know is that a flight heading from LaGuardia to Dallas had some sort of engine problems and made an unscheduled landing, stopping at PHL. We're hearing that one person was taken to the hospital. For what exactly is still unknown, but of course, as details come in, we will continue to bring it to you. Now, we do have some video from Marty Martinez, who was apparently a passenger on that flight. This was posted on Facebook. You can see the air. Apparently a Facebook Live.
So in this case, so there must have been a decompression of some sort in the cabin because that's the oxygen mask that will drop if the cabin loses pressure. So this is a little different from just the engine fire. So they may have had some kind of rapid decompression where the mask dropped because the passengers can't access these masks on their own. They have to be, you know, the plane itself, the pilots in the cabin would initiate something like this.
I mean, you have to imagine that's not something that's at least I would assume from my own experiences on flights, it's not something that's very common.
Oh, no. When the masks drop, that's when you know there's some kind of major issue. So it depends on when this happened. Normally the masks will drop when the plane is at a high altitude, because once you're below a certain level, you can breathe without any kind of assistance. But that's the weird thing about this one. The engine's one thing, but the oxygen mask is something completely different.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear from either Marty Martinez or whomever else may have been on that plane, because I would imagine that when those oxygen masks started to deploy or started to drop, that must have been a really scary experience, and depending on what the crew was saying.
And if that happened before the crew was given, the cabin crew was given any kind of instructions by the cockpit, then you're talking about, then there's confusion in the cabin and stuff like that. So, but again, the good thing that we can see at least here is, that they didn't evacuate the plane. They're just exiting the plane. They're putting people on the bus there at PHL, and they'll be transported into the terminal. But obviously a scary situation here today for these Southwest passengers. They boarded a plane in LaGuardia expecting to be in Dallas, and instead they're stopping here after an engine fire and some kind of issue with the cabin pressure on board that jet.
Yeah, so a lot more to come here, and as details come into our newsroom, we will of course update you here on CBS 3 on air, but of course always online, cbsphilly.com. So stay with us for updates throughout the day.